The script hit my inbox like a grenade at 2 a.m., its subject line screaming, "Your role of a lifetime," from the one person who'd sworn never to betray me. Jordan Hale, my college roommate turned ghost, had turned our wreckage of a friendship into a blockbuster biopic, casting me as the tragic gay heartthrob pining for a straight leading man who looked exactly like him. As I scrolled through the pages, heart slamming against my ribs, I realized this wasn't just theft, it was resurrection, forcing me to relive the love I buried under years of silence, only now with spotlights and a director yelling "cut" on the kiss I'd never gotten. I slammed my laptop shut, the glow fading like a dying star, and paced my cramped Echo Park apartment, the city hum outside mocking my unraveling. Jordan's words leaped off the screen. Alex navigates the treacherous waters of unrequited desire, his quiet strength clashing against societal chains. It was me, dissected, my journals pilfered from that forgotten storage unit after graduation, twisted into fiction that felt too real. How dare he? We'd promised each other the truth would stay buried. Our late-night confessions sealed in the sacred pact of broke 20-somethings chasing dreams in dorms that smelled of ramen and regret. But here it was, polished and profane, my pain package for Oscars. And worst of all, his email begged me to audition, as if I could step into a version of us where the ending wasn't heartbreak. By dawn, the coffee in my mug had gone cold, mirroring the frost settling in my chest. I hadn't spoken to Jordan in 3 years, not since he vanished into the Hollywood machine, leaving me with a half-written screenplay of my own and a scar that itched like fresh ink. We'd met freshman year at UCLA, thrown together by a housing glitch. Me, the theater kid from Ohio with a chip on my shoulder about small-town whispers. Him, the golden boy from Seattle, all easy charm and unchecked privilege. He was straight as the day is long, or so he claimed, dating sorority girls with laughs like wind chimes while I nursed crushes in the shadows. But those nights, huddled over scripts in the glow of his desk lamp, we'd cracked open like cheap wine, sharing fears that bound us tighter than blood. Jordan confessed his dread of fading into his lawyer father's shadow, the pressure to be the son who made it without the mess of art. I spilled about the church youth group back home that branded me a sinner for stealing glances at the quarterback, the way my mom's Bible verses felt like shackles even as she hugged me goodbye. "You're my anchor, Alex," he'd said once, slinging an arm around my shoulders after a brutal critique in screenwriting class, his warmth seeping through my shirt like sunlight on frostbitten skin. I wanted to believe it meant more, but hope was a luxury I couldn't afford. Not when his girlfriends paraded through our room, leaving lipstick stains on glasses I pretended not to notice. Our friendship deepened that sophomore fall, when the Campus Queer Alliance threw its annual mixer, rain pattering against the student union windows like hesitant applause. I dragged Jordan along as my straight ally, a shield against the awkward small talk with guys who eyed me like fresh meat. He played the part flawlessly, charming the room with stories of his totally progressive family hikes in the Cascades. But as the night wore on and the punch flowed spiked with cheap vodka, he cornered me in the photo booth, the curtain drawn like a confessional. "Why do you hide it so much?" he asked, his breath warm against my ear, the strip of black and white proofs whirring out behind us. I laughed it off, blaming the booze, but his eyes held mine too long, stirring the storm I'd kept leashed. Weeks later, the first crack appeared. Jordan's latest fling, a poli-sci major named Taylor with hair like spun gold, cornered me in the quad after overhearing whispers in the dining hall. "Is it true? You and Jordan? I mean, he's so straight, but the way he talks about you." Her voice dripped with that mix of curiosity and venom, the kind that masqueraded as concern in sorority circles. I denied it, heat flooding my face, but the seed of doubt took root. That night, Jordan burst into our room late, reeking of tequila and triumph from some frat party. "Taylor's history," he announced, collapsing onto my bed uninvited, his head lolling against my thigh. "She thinks we're banging. Can you believe that shit?" His laugh was forced, jagged, and when I shifted away, he grabbed my wrist. "Hey, you're not pissed, right? It's just stupid rumors." I wasn't pissed, I was gutted. The accusation hung between us, a ghost we both pretended not to see, but it poisoned everything. Our late nights shortened, his arms slung less casually. I threw myself into auditions, landing bit parts in student films that paid in exposure and ego bruises, while Jordan's scripts started winning contests, his name buzzing in faculty lounges. By junior year, the distance was a chasm. He dated a string of girls, each more high-profile, and I buried my feelings in anonymous hookups at off-campus bars. The thrill of fleeting touches a poor substitute for the one person who saw me whole. The breaking point came during spring break, when we road-tripped to Big Sur in his beat-up Jeep, the Pacific crashing below like applause for our fading act. We hiked Pfeiffer Beach at sunset, purple light bleeding into the waves, and for a moment, it felt like old times. Him quoting Kerouac, me countering with Whitman, our laughter echoing off the cliffs. But as we sat on the sand, bonfire crackling, he turned serious. Alex, what if? What if the rumors weren't all wrong? His voice was a whisper, swallowed by the surf, and my heart seized. Was this it? The confession I'd scripted in my dreams? But then he laughed, clapping my back. Nah, I'm kidding. Taylor's ghost is haunting me. But seriously, man, you're the best friend I'll ever have. Don't ever change. I changed that night. The almost hung there, a bruise that deepened with every just friend's assurance. Back at UCLA, I pulled away, skipping our rituals, forging new bonds with the theater crowd. Guys like Micah, a non-binary lighting tech with a wicked sense of humor, and Lena, a lesbian director who became my surrogate sister. They pulled me into their world, safe and unapologetic, where pride flags waved without apology. Jordan noticed, of course, cornering me after a rehearsal. You're ghosting me, he accused, hurt flickering in his eyes. Is it because of what I said? Alex, I didn't mean, but I cut him off, the words spilling like venom. You didn't mean anything, Jordan. That's the problem. We're friends. Period. Let's leave it there. Graduation came like a mercy killing. Diplomas in hand. We hugged awkwardly at the ceremony, promising to stay in touch. He headed to a fellowship in New York. I scraped by in LA, waitering at a Sunset Strip bistro while auditioning for commercials that reduced me to diverse background guy. Jordan's emails trickled in at first, updates on his first agency gig, photos of Broadway marquee lights, then dried up as his star rose. I heard whispers. Jordan Hale, the wunderkind, selling pilots to Netflix. My own script, a quiet coming-of-age tale laced with my truths, gathered dust on my hard drive. 3 years later, that Grenade email. I'd built a fragile piece, casual dates with a barista named Theo who made me laugh, a tight-knit friend group that included Lena, now helming indie shorts, and Micah, thriving as a set designer. We gathered Sundays at a Silver Lake cafe, dissecting the industry's hypocrisies over avocado toast and mimosas. Homophobia's the new blackface, Lena would rant, her braids swinging like pendulums. They want us palatable, not real. Theo squeezed my hand under the table, his thumb tracing circles that grounded me. But Jordan's script shattered it all. I read it in one feverish sitting, the words blurring through tears. It was our story, but romanticized. Alex as the brooding artist, Jordan as the conflicted heir who awakens to love too late. Scenes I'd confessed in drunken vulnerability. Our photo booth talk, the Big Sur almost, now bloomed into stolen glances and charged silences. The climax? A rain-soaked airport reunion where Jordan confesses, pulling Alex into a kiss that shatters the world's illusions. Fiction, sure, but it gutted me, exposing nerves I'd cauterized. And the casting call, seeking Alex Thompson type for lead romantic opposite Jordan Hale in self-penned debut. Self-penned. He was starring as himself, or his avatar, and wanted me to play the fool who loved him. Rage boiled, but beneath it, a treacherous spark, curiosity, maybe hope. What if this was his way of saying sorry? Or more? I fired off a reply. What the hell, Jordan? This is my life. Call off the dogs. His response pinged instantly. Alex, it's bigger than us. Read to the end. Please. Coffee tomorrow. The Roosevelt. 10 a.m. I shouldn't have gone. But the hook was set, reeling me back into the depths we'd both fled. The lobby of the Roosevelt hummed with ghosts of old Hollywood, chandeliers dripping crystal tears, velvet banquettes cradling secrets. Jordan waited in a corner booth, looking every inch the success story. Tailored blazer over a crisp tee, hair artfully tousled, that boyish grin sharpened by ambition. He stood as I approached, Arms open for a hug, I sidestepped with a stiff handshake. "You look good," he said, voice low, like we were picking up mid-conversation instead of mid-betrayal. "LA suits you." "You stole my journals," I said flatly, sliding into the seat opposite, the scent of his cologne, same as college, sandalwood and citrus, hitting like a sucker punch. "From the storage unit I told you about when I moved." "How could you?" He winced, signaling the waiter for 2 black coffees, strong enough to strip paint. "Guilty. But hear me out. After New York, I hit a wall. Scripts rejected left and right because they were too safe. Then I found your box, dusty, forgotten. Reading it, it unlocked everything. Our story, Alex. It's universal. Unrequited love, identity, the lies we tell to survive. But I flipped it, made the love mutual, the redemption real. It's hopeful. Hopeful." I barked a laugh, drawing stares from tourists snapping selfies by the pool fountain outside. "You turn my pain into a rom-com. I'm the sidekick who pines while you get the girl, or guy, in your version. And now you want me to act it? Pretend I got the kiss." His eyes, that piercing hazel that haunted my dreams, softened. "Not pretend. Embody. You're an actor. This could be your break. My producer's obsessed, says you're perfect because it's authentic. Plus," he leaned in, voice dropping, "it's my apology. For ghosting. For the almosts. I was scared, man. Of what people thought. Of what it meant." The coffee arrived, steaming like unspoken accusations. I stirred mine black, watching the spoon circle like a noose. Scared of what? The rumors? Or the truth in them? Back in college, after the Big Sur trip, I'd confided in Lena over late-night tacos, her eyes narrowing as she pieced it together. "He's in the closet, Alex. Classic repression. But if he's not ready, you're the one who bleeds." I dismissed it, clinging to friendship's illusion. But now, with Jordan's gaze holding mine, doubt crept in like fog off the hills. "Tell me why now," I pressed, voice steady despite the tremor in my chest. 3 years silent, then this bomb. "What's the real play?" He exhaled, running a hand through his hair, a tell from our poker nights, when he'd bluff his way to victory. "Therapy," he admitted. "Last year, after a bad breakup. Not with a guy, but it made me question everything. Your words in those journals. They were my mirror. I owe you the truth. I felt it too, back then. The pull. But I panicked. Dad's voice in my head, the industry's whispers. So I ran. This script? It's me fixing it. On screen, at least." My throat tightened, the cafe's jazz croon fading to a buzz. Felt it too. The words I'd scripted in fantasies, now real and ragged. But anger surged, hot and familiar. Fixing it by outing me without consent? By making our mess public fodder? What about Theo? My friends? They read this. They'll see right through. "Change the names," he urged, desperation edging his tone. "It's fiction. And Theo, bring him to the table read. Make it yours." He slid a contract across the table, gold embossed, pages crisp as new lies. "One meeting with the director. No commitment. Please, Alex. For us." Us. The word dangled like bait. I pocketed the contract, standing abruptly. "I'll think. But if I do this, it's on my terms. No more stealing." Outside, the sun blazed, palm fronds rattling like applause, but my world tilted. Theo's text lit my phone. "Brunch with Lena and Micah? Spill the tea." I typed back yes, but my mind raced ahead, to auditions, spotlights, and the man who'd always been my North Star, now threatening to burn me alive. That afternoon, Silver Lake buzzed with the usual Sunday rhythm. Yogis unrolling mats on the grass, dog walkers trading gossip under jacaranda blooms shedding purple rain. Theo claimed our corner table at the cafe, his dimpled grin a balm as he pulled out my chair. "You look like you wrestled a script and lost," he teased, pecking my cheek, his beard tickling soft. Theo was steady, a graphic designer with inked arms and a laugh that disarmed defenses I'd built high. 6 months in, he was the anti-Jordan, out and proud. No almosts, just easy affection that mended cracks without fanfare. Lena arrived next, sliding in with a tray of lattes, her locks crowned with a fresh fade. "Spill," she demanded, eyes sharp behind cat-eye glasses. Micah trailed, non-binary and fabulous in a thrifted velvet blazer, dropping into the seat with a dramatic flourish. "If it's industry BS, I'm here for the burn." I laid it out, The email, the script, Jordan's plea, watching their faces shift from curiosity to fury. Theo's hand found mine under the table, squeezing tight. What? That's identity theft, babe. Sue his ass. Lena nodded fierce, scrolling her phone for entertainment lawyers. This reeks of straight-passing privilege. He's using your trauma for clout. Micah, ever the mediator, tilted their head. But what if it's cathartic? Rewrite your ending. Make it queer joy, not his redemption arc. Cathartic. The word lingered as we dissected, mimosas flowing into plot twists we demand. Theo stayed quiet mostly, his thumb stroking my knuckles, an anchor, but I felt the undercurrent of unease. Later, walking home through the neighborhood's murals splashed with rainbow defiance, he voiced it. Are you tempted to see him? His voice was gentle, but vulnerability peeked through, the fear of being the rebound in someone else's epic. I stopped under a pepper tree, branches heavy with red berries like warning lights. Part of me hates him, but another wonders what if he means it. The felt it too. Theo's eyes searched mine, hurt flickering before he masked it with a nod. Just don't lose yourself in his story, Alex. You've got one of your own. We kissed then, slow and sure, his hands cupping my face like I was porcelain. But as he pulled away, Jordan's contract burned in my pocket, a siren call to chaos. The audition loomed 2 days later, a nondescript studio lot in Burbank where dreams went to audition for rejection. I arrived early, script annotated with my revisions. More agency for my character, subplots weaving in Lena-inspired allies, a climax where forgiveness wasn't free. The waiting room buzzed with hopefuls, 20-somethings clutching headshots, trading war stories of cattle calls. I felt exposed, like my skin was translucent, every insecurity on display. Jordan found me there, coffee in hand. Mine, black, just right. You came, he breathed, relief softening his edges. Up close, success had etched lines around his eyes, weariness beneath the polish. Nervous. About playing myself? Terrified. We fell into step toward the soundstage, the awkwardness thawing into familiar rhythm. He updated me on the production, big-name producer, A-list director eyeing cameos, and I shared Theo, my friends, the life I'd carved without him. Sounds solid, he said, a shadow crossing his face. You deserve that. Inside, the set hummed, lights rigged like stars, cameras poised like predators. The director, a wiry woman named Carla with a no BS vibe, greeted us warmly. Alex, right? Jordan's raved. Let's see the chemistry. Chemistry. The word hung heavy as we blocked the scene. The airport farewell, rain machines misting the air, my character confessing love to his oblivious friend. Jordan opposite me, script in hand, but his eyes locked on mine, no paper shield. Action. Carla's clap echoed. I dove in, lines flowing raw. The ache of hidden truths, the terror of loss. Jordan mirrored, his responses laced with improv, small touches, a hand lingering on my arm. That blurred script from soul. When I leaned in for the almost kiss, halting at the precipice, the room held breath. I can't do this if you don't see me, I whispered, ad-libbing from my gut. Jordan's reply cracked. Then make me. Cut. Carla hooped, applauding. That's gold. Raw as hell. Adrenaline surged as we broke, Jordan's grin boyish again. You killed it. But backstage, as makeup dabbed my forehead, doubt crept. Was this acting or excavation? Theo's text buzzed. Break a leg. Love you. Guilt twisted, loyalty to him. Or this pull to unfinished business. Weeks blurred into pre-production frenzy. I signed on, conditional on my notes, and the cast assembled. Diverse ensemble with queer leads, a nod to authenticity that Carla championed fiercely. Rehearsals in a Koreatown warehouse became my confessional, running lines with Jordan till midnight, dissecting motivations over takeout foe. He opened up more. Family estrangement after his dad discovered the script's gay undertones, a string of flings that left him hollow. You're the only one who got it, he'd say, vulnerability cracking his armor. I shared too, Theo's steadiness, the prejudice scars from Ohio that lingered like tattoos. Theo adapted, gracious at cast parties, but tension simmered. One night, post-rehearsal, Jordan drove me home, city lights streaking like tears. Silence stretched, then he parked outside my building, engine idling. Alex. About Big Sir. I wasn't kidding. Not entirely. His hand hovered near mine on the gearshift, heat bridging the gap. My pulse thundered. Jordan, I have Theo. But the words felt hollow, the air charged with what-ifs. He nodded, withdrawing. Right. Just. Thanks for this. For giving us a second act. I fled inside, heart a war drum, collapsing into Theo's arms on the couch. Rough day? He murmured, sensing the storm. I confessed the moment, hating the shadow it cast. It's the role bleeding over, I insisted. He held me tighter. Or unfinished feelings. Talk to me, Alex. We talked till dawn, raw and real, fortifying our bond against the encroaching narrative. But the set was a pressure cooker. A scene shoot, our character's first tentative touch in a campus library mock-up, pushed boundaries. Jordan's ad-lib, a whispered, "I've always known," sent shivers, the take wrapped in tears, mine blurring the lens. Carla called it magic, but afterward, in the trailer, Jordan cornered me. That was us. Real. His proximity ignited sparks, and before reason kicked in, our lips brushed, a test, electric and wrong. I pulled back, gasping. We can't. Not like this. Hurt flashed in his eyes. Why? Because of the script? Or because it's true? I stormed out, dialing Theo, voice breaking as I spilled. He arrived in 20 minutes, wrapping me in his coat against the lot's chill. You're not the villain here, he said, fierce. But you need to choose your story. That night, conflicts crested. A blowout with Jordan via text. This is why I ran. And Lena's intervention, rallying the cast for a queer solidarity circle where we aired grievances, prejudices laid bare like open wounds. Surprises piled. Jordan's producer outed as a closeted ally, leaking the script to conservative outlets that branded it woke propaganda. Backlash hit. Trolls on socials, my old hometown pastor decrying my fall from grace in a viral sermon. Theo's support anchored, but cracks showed. Micah confided their own unrequited ache from college, mirroring mine, forging deeper friendship. Lena directed a pivotal scene, infusing it with her lens, my character confronting family denial, a stand-in for my mom's silence since I came out. Climax brewed on location in Malibu, recreating Big Sur cliffs with drone shots sweeping the ocean. The bonfire scene, confessions under stars, rain machines unleashing catharsis. Jordan and I circled each other, lines laced with years of subtext. I was scared of you, my character admitted. Of how you made me feel whole. Jordan's response improvised. Then teach me to be brave. The kiss landed, not scripted, but inevitable. Cameras rolling as emotion overtook art. Carla yelled cut, but we lingered, foreheads pressed, the world narrowing to breath shared. Wrap party at the Roosevelt circled back, full circle irony. Theo attended, arm linked in mine, Jordan toasting us both with genuine warmth. To second chances, he said, eyes on Theo now, respect dawning. Later, on the balcony overlooking Hollywood sprawl, Theo pulled me aside. I see it, the pull. If you need space. But I silenced him with a kiss, deep and declarative. You're mine now? Jordan's the echo. Surprise twist. Jordan pulled me into a quiet corner, script revisions in hand. I changed the ending. No airport reunion. Your character walks away, chooses himself. Tears pricked, redemption, not romance. And off-screen? I asked. He smiled, sad and sure. Friends. Finally, Prejudice's shadow lifted as the film premiered months later. To acclaim, queer icons praising its nuance, my performance earning indie nods. Backlash faded, replaced by dialogue sparked in living rooms nationwide. In the end, the real drama wasn't the screen's, it was ours, forged in misunderstanding's fire, tempered by friendship's grace. Theo and I built forward, Micah and Lena our constellation, Jordan a distant star, bright but not blinding. Love, I learned, wasn't possession, but the courage to let stories unfold, mine, unstolen, ever after.